All right, guys. So today we're going to get a look at what is the world's most expensive wireless noise canceling headphones. Now, obviously, I cover a lot of wireless headphones and earbuds on the channel, and I went to CanJam in New York to check out a lot of higher end audiophile gear. And most of the time that consists of wired IEMs, wired headphones. You generally don't see a lot of Bluetooth devices just because audiophiles don't really consider Bluetooth to be the same kind of quality as wired, and for the most part I usually agree with this. But the pair that I saw, which is the T+A Solitaire T, originally caught my eye just walking by the booth. It just had this luxurious look to it. It was sitting in a case. It looked like a wireless pair of headphones, so that already caught my attention. So I stopped by to talk to the guy at the booth. He showed me everything about these, told me all of the different features, and it had me hooked. I didn't know the price at this point, but I knew I wanted to try these out, and I wanted to kind of get a hold of them away from the showroom floor. So they actually sent these out to me. They are available in 3 different colors. They have a black version, a white version, and then I have the cognac white. I think the cognac white has this sexy look to it. It kind of reminds me of like the interior of a luxury car. But I'm going to go ahead and start with the price on these because this is what really caught my attention, because, you know, for the most part, consumer grade wireless noise canceling headphones float around $300 to $400. Now, we covered the Focal Batiste, which I think goes for $700, and I think that's the most expensive wireless headphones that I've covered on the channel. Now, there are some other ones that I think go right up to $1,000, but the Solitaire T goes all the way up to $1,700. So the closest wireless headphone that I've checked out to these is $1,000 less. So I had to see what was the big deal about these and how could they charge this much. So first off, these headphones aren't just really a wireless noise canceling pair of headphones. In fact, I don't even think that's the best way to utilize them. You can use these in different ways, which makes these basically what an audiophile would want. You can use them wired because it does come with a 3.5mm cable, comes with a 4.4mm balance cable, and it also comes with a 1/4-inch adapter if you do want to plug it into an amp or a home stereo system that uses that. So you do have the ability to just use these just as a passive pair of headphones, just like as you would a normal audiophile grade style headphone. So you're going to rely more on the amp that you're plugged into. Now you can obviously use these in Bluetooth because these are Bluetooth 5.1, so they do support multi-point connection, and they also have aptX HD playback. So that is already nice that you have a higher end Bluetooth codec like this, but they also allow you to use USB-C mode. Now, USB-C mode you can plug straight into a phone or a laptop or anything like that and just use the DAC that is built into the headphones, which is the ES9218P Sabre DAC. This is a very solid DAC, and usually this is something that's going to be in a separate device and not necessarily something that is in the pair of headphones. So if you're using this USB-C mode, you can take advantage of this, but also while you're using them in Bluetooth mode, as long as you are not using noise canceling, you also have the ability to take advantage of this DAC because you can listen to them in high quality mode. And that is the way that I recommend using these. They do have noise canceling, obviously. So I think if you're on a plane, you want to dull out the engine noises, or if there's, you know, some like low rumble noise, like an AC unit or something like that in a room that you're in, you may want to use noise canceling there. But to fully get the most out of these when it comes to audio quality, you definitely want these in high quality mode. So let's move over to looking at the headphones themselves. Now, they made these out of a high quality aluminum. They do have metal joints, and the padding at the top of the headphones and the padding on the ear pads are a synthetic leather. It's very soft. There is memory foam in the ear pads, so it's a very comfortable pair of headphones, although it does have a little bit of weight, but it's not something that you notice while it's actually on your head. Now, the headphones do fold in and they also swivel. Now, this makes it easy to fit into the included case, which I think is extremely nice. It has that brown leather look and it's embossed with the T+A logo. It's just really clean, and it gives you plenty of room for the headphones and the accessories that they've included. Now, the Solitaire T does use a low tolerance 42mm dynamic driver, and the way that they actually implemented these is they have it where there's like very little moving parts, because the more things in drivers that are moving, you kind of lose sound quality, or it's something that will interfere with something else. So they definitely have everything in here pretty tightened up, and it really does affect the sound quality that these have, which we'll talk about in just a second. Now, the battery life on these, which you would charge these with that USB-C cable, if you use them with the noise canceling off and the high quality mode off, you can get 70 hours. But if you do use them with that high quality mode, because it's powering that DAC separately, it is going to drop you all the way down to 35 hours. Again, I still say that that's the way to go, and I think 35 hours is going to be, fine for pretty much anybody. Now, these do actually work with an app, which does allow you to switch between the noise canceling off, or the high quality mode, which you can do from the headphones. Now, the headphones do use different types of controls. Now, you have physical buttons, you have these sliders, and you actually have touch controls, and they implement it in a way where it allows you to control everything. You don't even need to go into the app to switch some things around, which it is nice that these do have an app, but the app is just pretty basic. It allows you to keep these updated, which I think is pretty important. One of the updates did make it where these can play back at 24-bit playback using that USB-C cable, so that is a nice bonus. And then the only other thing really that the app does is allow you to switch around between the different pre-built EQ settings. So there's not any way to customize the EQ settings, which I thought was kind of strange. I can understand a company doing this, because some custom EQs, as soon as you start messing around with them, it generally affects the volume in a negative way. So maybe that's why they chose to do this. I'm not really sure. But outside of that, we can really just go ahead and jump into the sound. And I do want to start this with saying that the sound is fantastic. I think everything is very well represented. Nothing is overemphasized. And in fact, the EQ that it has out of the box is actually set to flat. I found that the EQ setting that I liked the most was Vitalize. It just brought things a little bit more forward. It definitely added some boost in the low end, which I'm a bass head, so I do like to have a little bit more punch. Now, I am going to say, if you are a bass head that just likes the subwoofer type bass, you probably are going to be disappointed with the low end. This is not sloppy bass. It's not overly done where it messes with anything else. It is not overly loose. It feels like everything with this headphone is really well tightened up. You can tell that they are focusing on accuracy. They are focusing on everything being extremely fast. The huge plus to this is you're able to listen to any genre of music, and then you never really feel like these headphones can't keep up. And again, that's even with the Vitalize EQ, so that it does boost the low end and it boosts the treble a little bit. It gives the treble a little bit more shine to it, because again, out of the box, it just kind of sounded a little flat, which I guess is the way that it was intended to sound. And same thing with the mids. Vocalists always stood out. It always felt like no matter, again, what genre I was listening to, I never had any issues hearing male or female vocalists. Acoustic instruments have this nice body to it, but it didn't feel extremely forward. It's not like so in your face that it feels like everything else is way in the background. It does have a really good balance between the lows, the mids, and the highs just across the board. Now, I will say the soundstage and the sound imaging on these, I don't think these were made to be a very wide open sounding headphone. In fact, it kind of gives you more of an intimate feel to what you're listening to. So it sounds a little bit more personal than it does like you're sharing it with a lot of people in the crowd. So again, that may come down to personal preference. But my overall opinion on these is obviously these are not going to be for everyone. This is definitely a luxury item, which I feel like is aimed at audiophiles that don't want to just listen to things sitting at home plugged into an amp. So if you're on the go, this keeps you from feeling like you're sacrificing or feeling like you're going with straight Bluetooth that is just like compressing your audio so much that it's nowhere near what you're used to listening to at home. This is bringing a more audiophile approach where you can just kind of take it on the go, and you can take it on the go without any wires, and that is a huge plus, because again, the world's kind of leaning towards no cables at all. I mean, really, you're going to have a hard time finding any phone that still uses a headphone jack. Luckily, most phones, in fact, I think every phone at this point now uses a USB-C plug-in, so you can take advantage of that. But a lot of people aren't going to want to wire between the headphones and their device. So being able to get this kind of sound quality in just Bluetooth mode is so impressive. And being able to use noise canceling when you need it is also impressive. Just don't go into these thinking these are the best of the best when it comes to noise canceling, because I've definitely had some other ones that do a better job of blocking out higher tones. But guys, that's my video on the T+A Solitaire Tees. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.